Thank you for listening to Life Improvement Radio. You are listening to a rebroadcast of a previously recorded show.
We're live at the Miami Book Fair, powered by Life Improvement Radio, Authors Corner on the Total Education Network. You can go to my website, totaltutor.net, for more information. Twitter, Total Tutor, Neil S. Haley, Facebook, LinkedIn, Neil Haley, all the different areas. And the social media blitz that I've had this weekend, probably people were like, wow, your Twitter's active this weekend. Well, it's kind of active with all my syndication shows playing all on different networks all over the place. But if you want 24 hours a day of Neil Haley, you got to go to Life Improvement Radio the last couple of days, because it's been 24 hours of Eric and Neil interviewing awesome authors. So it's very interesting, our conversation. And I now want to welcome to the program author Josh Hanagarne, author of The World's Strongest Librarian. Josh, thanks for calling.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Josh, what are you thinking of the Miami Book Fair? We're wrapping up things, and it's been a crazy thing. But it looks like you have an event coming up soon this afternoon, so your day's not definitely over. But it's been crazy so far and exciting.
Yeah, it's been a blast. I've been in Miami all week, and that's been the first time. But today is my first official thing. So far, the most memorable thing I've done is I got to play a couple of songs with the Rock Bottom Remainders last night. And that was by far the most fun I've ever had. So it's been a pretty wild week, big production. Once I see all the things it takes to make something like this go smoothly, I definitely feel like if you get to show up and just do your thing, you've by far got the easiest job.
Absolutely. And they do such a wonderful job at the book fair. And Eric, and the way you're able to keep this live for so long is you're impressing us as well, Eric.
Thanks. So I try. Sometimes we have some technical glitches, but we get there.
You know, the technical glitches, and what Eric looking at the next week as an entrepreneur is just like myself. And oh my gosh, tomorrow's Monday. But and getting text messages from the producers over in Miami saying next person coming on, and we're like, okay. So let's go into it, Josh. Specifically, the title, "The World's Strongest Librarian," and how you came up with the title.
Well, the title originally was just something that made me laugh. The background on me is that I'm a librarian in Salt Lake City. I'm 6'7", I weigh 265 pounds, and I'm also a performing strongman. And if that wasn't enough, I also have really, really extreme Tourette syndrome, one of the most extreme cases my neurologists have ever seen. And the reason you're not hearing me have a lot of tics and noises right now is because I'm so tired. There's just barely any energy to have them. But that's kind of it. I work in a library. I'm usually the loudest one in the library. I'm always the biggest one in the library, and I also do like kind of the circus strongman stuff. A lot of weird things going on all at once. And the book is also about growing up Mormon and then leaving the church, gently, I should add. But it's all these things, and libraries are kind of at the heart of all this. So I'm very physically strong. I think the publishers would tell you something a little more precious, like the title's about inner strength. It's a metaphor. But I'll leave that to them and you.
Oh, absolutely. And this is interesting. I'm 6'10", about 280 pounds, and I guess I'm the world's strongest talk show host. No, but I want to talk about
okay,
for sure.
Well, we need to start a band then.
Oh, yes. I'll be the singer. I'm definitely not going to be the one. You'll have to play the musical instruments. But
that's why I was laughing, Neil. When
Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. That's why I started laughing when he said how tall he was. I was like, I don't know if he knows he's being interviewed by an ex-pro wrestler who's just as big. So.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, that makes my day.
Well, people do get a kick out of that one. That's a great point, Eric. Now, when you're talking about strongman, now, Josh, you just told us your weight and height, but if you're a strongman, then you really must be in pretty good shape as well. Right?
Yeah, I'm in great shape. I mean, I look fit, but most of the stuff I do, you wouldn't see a big guy and say, oh, I bet he can roll up a frying pan with his hands, or I bet he can break a horseshoe in half with his hands, or tear a phone book, that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'm big and I look fit, but that's more just like any guy who goes to the gym would look. Most of what I'm able to do is hand strength and wrist strength, and hands just look like hands.
Interesting. Eric, what question do you have for Josh? I know you have a ton. I already know that.
I know. I'm just laughing. I'm thinking. I love the title of the book, and I love your description of everything. How has it been received by people? Have they kind of had a chuckle out of it, or what have been the responses?
The responses have been wonderful, unless everybody's lying to me. I haven't read any reviews, but I do a ton of public speaking. It's by far what I'm the best at and what I like the most. And so when I speak to these giant groups of people with disabilities or their parents or special educators, there seem to be a lot of things in this story that really move people, which is wonderful. I'm not a motivational speaker. I'm pro self-improvement, but I don't like most of the self-improvement industry. So I don't really have to come up and draw conclusions for people or present data. I just get to tell some stories, and so far the reactions have been really overwhelming and very humbling. But my favorite thing to do in the world is meet people, and I'm getting to go all over the country and meet people who are excited about this, and it's been a blast.
Having Tourette's, you said you have a really bad case Tourette's. How's it been functioning with Tourette's and just your day-to-day? I mean, your job. How difficult has it been?
It's very hard, and that's a longer story, but one of the reasons I chose to work in a library is because I can't be comfortable there. I'm always very physically exposed with the symptoms, and so I got to try in this kind of constant panic to figure out what else could I try to make me quieter or not twitch so much and not make the day harder for myself or for the people who are here. And I love libraries for many, many reasons, and there are other reasons I've dedicated my life to them. But it's honestly, as far as the Tourette's, it's kind of like my laboratory. I'm there because it's hard, and it's making me try to figure it out in a way I wouldn't if I was at home or I was working in a place where nobody needed me to be quiet or more still.
So it's a challenge in a way, right, Josh?
Every second of every day is quite difficult, yeah.
So, but as a strong man, you don't have to be quiet, right?
Nope. There are some times where I can let it out, and I need those.
And that's such a great title, again, The World's Strongest Librarian. And so, in a lot of ways, talking to people about the book and different things like that, mixing the library with what you do, Josh, as a strong man, what an interesting mix. And to have these conversations, especially kids with special needs and families and getting to travel, as you said, is there a hope of a second book, writing something else, Josh, or what are you thinking?
Yeah, I've already turned in a kid's book. I don't know if anybody's going to pick it up yet. And then for my birthday in December, I'm turning in the next nonfiction proposal as a present to myself. Nobody's promised me anything, but things are going well enough that I'm definitely optimistic. There are going to be more books either way because I just love to write, and that's always going to be part of it.
All right, cool. Again, we're talking to Josh Hanagarne, author of The World's Strongest Librarian, live at the Mind Book Fair, Total Education Network, Author's Corner on Life Improvement Radio, powered by Life Improvement Radio with Eric Bremmel. And Eric, again, we've had a cast of characters today for sure, haven't we?
We really have. We've had a full deck, and it's been a blast.
And you know what will happen, our wrap-up will be very, very interesting from 3:45 to 4 that Lisa wanted to do. Josh, is there anything you've not done at the Mind Book Fair yet that you want to do after you're involved in an activity at 3:30, but are there other things you want to experience before leaving Miami?
You know, not really. I've been here for a week, and I got to go catch a flight. I'm worn out, and I don't think I'd have as much fun doing any of the things I might have planned on going and doing. I'm ready to go. But it's been a great time.
Absolutely. What's your favorite part of the book, of writing the book, would you say?
Honestly, my favorite thing about writing is when I can make myself laugh. And I made myself, I mean, there's some hard stuff and some dark things in the book, but I made myself laugh so much. And that there's just no high like that. When you write a sentence and you're laughing by the time you put the period on it, and then you say, hey, I wrote that.
You wrote it, and it's so awesome.
I can recognize it generally when I've nailed something, and it was so fun. Writing a book is a lot of work, but I love it. And so I can't really take credit for the fact that I look forward to writing every day. So I've got that advantage there. But I look forward to it because I can make myself laugh pretty reliably. And sometimes that's hard to come by, given some of the other things. And that's why I always need to write.
would you say you have a lot of knowledge as a librarian that you can kind of share just your librarian knowledge to people?
Yeah, for sure. But librarians are kind of like the ultimate generalists. It's really easy to sound like you know a lot about everything, but I'm a very passionate dabbler, so I know something about many things, but I don't know. I have little expertise in anything in particular, and that's kind of what I like. I like to be interested in a lot of things, and when you work at the library and people walk up and ask questions, they get to ask whatever they want, and if you can help them, you get to learn the answers to their questions too, and just add them to the bank.
That's what I was going to say. Working as a librarian, that's got to be a pretty cool, if that's a skill set of yours, it's got to be a pretty cool skill set to be able to convey to people, but then learn more.
Yeah, for sure. And it depends. Just because you're really good at doing research doesn't necessarily mean anybody needs you to do it.
Right.
So the libraries are changing. I'm sure there's been a ton of discussion about that in different areas this week. But people are always going to need the library for something, and the library's mission at the bottom of it's not going to change. Whether or not people are still coming up and asking complicated reference questions in 10 years doesn't really worry me for the future of libraries. It just means what we're doing will look a little different.
Exactly.
All right, well, fantastic, Josh. Where can we find information on you, purchase your book, and learn more about you?
My blog is called World's Strongest Librarian, just .com. The book's everywhere. There's a great audiobook. It's on all the e-platforms. It's gotten good write-ups in the New Yorker and Oprah's magazine. It's pretty easy to find. If you can go to Google and remember the strong, twitchy librarian, you'll find it.
Well, Josh, best of luck to you, and I hope we'll be at the Mind Book Fair together when I finally have my book out.
Me too.
We can maybe arm wrestle and you beat me, because I have a feeling you're the strongest librarian. You're going to take me out, but it would be great. It would be a great photo, wouldn't it, Eric?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a deal.
All right, take care, Josh.
You too. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye. All right, you're listening to Author's Corner, powered by Life Improvement Radio on the Total Education Network, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Thank you for listening to Life Improvement Radio. The views expressed by show hosts or their guests are their own and shall not be construed in any way as advice from Life Improvement Radio. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our website. Personal perspectives expressed by the producers, writers, or editors will always be presented as such. Any rebroadcast or retransmission without the expressed written consent of Life Improvement Radio is strictly prohibited. Thanks for listening.